Hello universe! Happy Sunday. Are you ready for the 4th of July coming up? Do you have travel plans? I have travel plans. My grandmother recently celebrated her 84th birthday. And since I don't drive, I don't get to make it to Austin very often. So I'm going to go down there this week and see her for a few days. Don't worry, there still will be vids if you are staying tuned for our daily cardio and my rants. So I'm going to go down there. My family is not a terribly active group, so we don't really do fireworks or anything like that. My grandmother is very different. She's definitely got some age-oriented mental challenges now. So, and my mother is I love my family. Have a particularly strong love for my mother and my brother. My grandmother and I have a past as far as some of her mental choices and just the interactions we've had since I was a child have always been a little bit venomous and not great. She's always really favored my brother, and I think in a way she holds the sight challenge that my mother has and that I have against us, even though she already has, and even though she has sight challenges as well. So she has not been as kind to my mother as she could have been, and my mother has sort of allowed that to seep into her belief about what she can accomplish. That's why I'm really an exception to my family, and my brother is a very loyal man. He's been there for my mother and my grandmother. He's just remarkably loyal. A really, really good guy. But he's made some sacrifices. And this is sort of where it comes back down to what I've said. You have to do things to make yourself happy as you grow up and as you enter the world as an adult. I think your responsibility is first to yourself, then to your family, and then to your community/country. And that's very challenging to do all three at once. And I've gotten a little bit off point, but as a result, my family doesn't really do much for holidays except for eat. And I don't really eat as much as I used to. I still eat. See, the thing about me when it comes to the Shea Loss Challenge is I stay pretty active exercise-wise. And so, or just fitness in general. I stay pretty active physically. I do my best more and more. My family, I don't come from a family that's terribly physically active. All of my family members would be considered overweight, for sure. And I've been overweight and still am overweight, but my body has always been, when I'm very slender or don't have a lot of weight on me, and even when I do, I don't show it as badly as I could. I carry my weight fairly well because I'm have fairly slender muscles or bones, and so when I'm, even my average weight of what I'm supposed to be, I still look fairly slender. I was often told in my youth that I should have gone into bodybuilding because of the structure of my physique, long bones and the whole thing. I never did. But I suppose the rambling point of all of it is that I come from a family that, as much as I love my mother and brother, and I do care for my grandmother, I don't want anything to happen to her, I come from a place where the choices that my family has made and the choices that I have made are different. We see the world differently. And they're a little more homebodied oriented, even though I think my brother would like to be more. But I think he's allowed himself to slip into a place where he may not be sure how to get out and to expand his horizons. And my mother, I love her so much. I really do, but I believe she doesn't support his growth because she's scared she will be alone. And that she won't have anyone, no one will care about her. And I think she puts a lot of that on her sight challenge. And it's tough, because how do you tell someone you can go beyond that? I have people who work for me, but I don't really have a lot of friends where I live. I had a pretty large circle of friends back where I used to live, but it was a much more conducive environment to commuting by walking everywhere. There's not a lot of that here. And that's fine. I'm taking this new job, not necessarily, or rather aspiring to this new job or assignment, because I want to make more money so that I can afford to have the people who work for me sort of expand out and take me to other places. And that's great. And I definitely want that. But please keep in mind that I realize that I have to pay people to spend time with me. That they don't do it out of the generosity of my heart or of their hearts. So these aren't people who, while they're loyal as employees, I also keep that in mind. That they're not people I have loyalty to later on when it comes to anything I can offer people from a personal standpoint, because they aren't doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They aren't trying to hang out with me in a natural sense, as far as emotionally connected, and that's fine. I don't dislike them for it, but I want people who want to be around me, not because I pay them. To keep those things in perspective. Friends are people who actually do things for you because they care about you, not because they get remuneration in some kind of perspective. I have a pretty solid head on my shoulders about who really are friends and who are people who want things from you. And I also don't look at people in my past as who I've dated as having used me. Maybe they have used me, but I have a pretty good fix on who's done something for themselves and who's done something because they actually cared about me. And believe me, I've made choices in dating people who were users and others who saw that I've sort of became codependent in ways. And in ways they wanted to be codependent. That's one of the challenges about finding a relationship is I really want a balance. And I'm not talking about we're both working and I'm going all around this tree, aren't I? Let's just continue with it though, because I go by sort of what happens in my brain when I'm having a conversation with people. I don't want a relationship with a woman that's based on we both feel and do the exact same things. I think we should share fundamental beliefs, but I don't expect her to enjoy doing everything I enjoy doing, and vice versa. One of the great things about a relationship, and a relationship that can sustain, is strong fundamental beliefs that are shared, but it doesn't have to be expressed through the same, religion or hobbies. She can love to play tennis and go play tennis. I, of course, cannot play tennis unless I play some sort of a sounded version of it, which is the equivalent of beat ball, because my long distance sight is pretty much non-existent, and I couldn't see a small object flying at me like this, and that's fine. I have to be in distance of something. But bowling is something I can fix on. I can see the pins down the alley and do my best to aim, although my aim is pretty bad. I haven't played bowling long enough or participated in it to have even an average score, and there are a lot of people who are sighted who can't play it worth a damn either, so don't get me wrong. It's just a matter of coordination. Lots of people have bad coordination. Either way, I don't mind if I'm the person bringing in the money into the relationship while my partner is going off to school. The only thing I ask in a relationship with someone is if I'm going to be doing this and trying to bring in money so that we can do more things, I would like my partner to be sort of the socialite, in the sense that she goes out and sort of helps us to build new friendships. She helps us to establish couple relationships. It doesn't mean she has to, go out and find me friends per se. Hopefully, as a result of her meeting women who are in relationships, or men or whatever, well, it's either a man or a woman or a gay couple, that's fine too, but in some kind of situation, hopefully I will, interact with the people that I meet and that she meets, and we will develop a circle of friends that are friends we play cards with, or go to movies with, or whatever. And I suppose that may sound like I'm waiting for someone to help me find friends, and I suppose in a way it is, because I stay pretty active in this, and until I have more connections in social media, because that's where I made all my friends before. Keep that in mind, please, that I have not made friends in the vending business, okay? All of my friends, my best friend, even though we've sort of grown apart in a lot of ways, Robert, he and I met, God, what was it? It's almost 20 years ago. We met it, no, it wasn't 20 years. It's 17 years ago? Around 17 years ago? And he's the best friend I've had in a long time, outside of my brother. And my brother's a great friend of mine, but we haven't known each other that long. Well, what the hell am I talking about? I completely lost my train of thought and become an idiot. I haven't known my brother that long. Only 36 years. My brother and I don't share as many common interests as Robert and I do. That's what I was getting at. You ever just start rambling and you kind of lose what the hell you were talking about? My brother and I, as much as I love him, as much as we have some similar views on the world, we don't share common interests and necessarily a lot of the same music. We do share some of the same interests when it comes to movies and TV. He'll throw suggestions at me, and I'll look into them, and vice versa. And he's a wonderful guy. But he and Robert are both very much like brothers to me. And then other people I just sort of know casually. You know, we don't spend a lot of time together in ways. You know, David and Stokey and I, the gent who was in my film, he's been a great friend to me. But we don't hang out consistently, so our friendship is sort of circumstantial when I get to see him. I mean, we're still friends, but it's not like we go out on dinner dates or anything like that. You know, I'm sort of a third wheel. I've really been in a relationship, and he's been in relationships when I've known him, so he goes and hangs out with his wife and couples. It's just natural, because otherwise you're sort of sitting there like, if you've ever seen the show Frasier, you see the dad sitting there, and he's, or Frasier has been there when the father and Niles have been on dates with their significant others, and he's just sort of sitting there as the fifth wheel. And there was a case where he was at this restaurant, and the waiter comes over, and it's Frasier and his father and his date, and Niles and his date, and they're asking him an appetizer, and the guy says, this certain dish, he says, you know, is fragetta for you, and for your love, and so on. And Frasier says, that sounds good. Can I get that? But could you just be fragetta for one, and not for my love, and so on. And he said, the wife says, I'm sorry, it's dose or no. And, and so they end up ordering 2 orders and splitting it, but I suppose the point is that there are situations where you're single, and it can be a sort of a drag at times. Because I think we all want to live 2 by 2. We all want a relationship. I mean, for God crying out loud, gay couples and lesbian couples have been fighting so they can be married, so they can share in the experience. Now, I'm sure part of it is that, just like straight couples, they would like to take advantage of the benefits for health and retirement and power of attorney and all those things that are related to being a significant relationship. And once again, my thoughts are, why on earth would you not give people who are in a committed relationship the same rights as other people? Religiously speaking, you don't have to agree with someone's choice of marriage, but you also can't expect to have the right to let's see, put it this way. People in Christianity, for example, want to be able to go and have religious exhibits during the winter. I have no problem with that. But you can't expect to have the standard where you're allowed to display your religious beliefs, and yet people who don't share your beliefs cannot do what they want to do. That's sort of my perspective. And that seems goes for Christianity, Muslims, across the board. You cannot expect other people, you can't expect that you should be able to do what you want to do, and other people cannot do what they want to do. I don't agree with Christianity's condemning of homosexual relationships or gay or lesbian relationships, because it's ridiculous to me, and ridiculous is probably the wrong choice of words, but it's wrong to me, and it's a double standard, and it's hypocrisy to say, I get my way but you don't get yours. That's just so childish to me. It's just like that whole thing with Paula Deen. Brown-skinned people can say the N-word, but this woman can't say the N-word. And Walmart and Target and all these other people have disconnected themselves or ended their relationships with this woman, but they won't judge the people who are using the N-word. This woman was honest about the fact that she used the word. In the court of law, she did not perjure herself, and she's being punished for being honest, for saying a word possibly years ago. So what they're just encouraging is her to be dishonest, because if she had lied, then they would have maintained their relationships with her potentially. She had a better chance of it, let's put it that way. So, I don't know how the hell I got on that. These are random thoughts. Please keep in mind, I don't get on here and have a plan, like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. I just let the mood take me where I'm going. And apparently today it's talking about equal rights again. The point is that for me, on my standpoint, I want a balanced relationship. I really, truly do. And if it sounds like I don't, tell me. Say, Keegan, you don't sound like you want balance. You sound like you want someone to find you friends. No, I know how to find friends. I joke around with people all the time. I'm very social. It's just that in my business, in ways, I don't have the ability to be social. And I don't have the transportation means financially at the moment, because I do pay my staff well, to often do a lot of other things. And really, I don't want to be doing vending all my life. I want to move back into media. That's why I'm doing this, and connecting with people who are doing fitness on YouTube. And I need to be more active in Facebook and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not. But I will be. I'm drifting back into what was important to me. And I'm going so long over it, guys. I hope you had a good workout. Okay, I gotta go. Take care of yourself. I will see you tomorrow. And, as always, live with passion. Take care.